I'm sorry, text it. It's smooth.
Bradley, I miss you.
And this one for the West Side Shorty's head full of curls, baby. We're just living in it, but it's your world, baby. You got it. Little baby, you got it.
You got it, yeah, you got it.
And this one for the 9 to 5 queens raising kids all alone, trying to turn their house into a home. Little baby, you got it. Little baby, you got it. I understand the confusion. I know you confused, taken for granted, probably tired of feeling used. You got choices, but it be kind of hard to choose. Think win, shorty, and I guarantee you won't lose. I was raised by a woman.
Messing up my track on my new intro. Let's go, Jay. Let's keep
miss
it running.
you.
And this one for the West Side Shorty's head full of curls, baby. We're just living in it, but it's your world, baby. You got it. Little baby, you got it.
You got it, yeah, you got it.
And this one for the 9 to 5 queens raising kids all alone, trying to turn their house into a home. Little baby, you got it. Little baby, you got it. I understand the confusion. I know you confused, taken for granted, probably tired of feeling used. You got choices, but it be kind of hard to choose. Think win, shorty, and I guarantee you won't lose. I was raised by a woman, I was the youngest. Heard my mama cry, and I seen my mama struggling. Fast forward, now she fine, and she ain't sad or nothing. Say the course, shorty, you got a breakthrough coming. You got that West Side glow, yeah, you shine, yeah, I'm boasting. That West Side vibe and that West Side motion. With a West Side mind and that West Side dopeness, left side, little baby, West coasting. And when times get hard, look in the mirror, take a moment, wipe your face, tighten up, and keep going. Cause it's gonna be alright, and I just hope you know it. I go by smooth, 00, still rolling. And this one for the West Side Shorty's head full of curls, baby. We just living in it, but it's your world, baby. You got it. Little baby, you got it.
You got it, yeah, you got it.
And this one for the 9 to 5.
All right, what up? Welcome to this Tuesday episode of 94 Feet with Coach JT. Forgive me for those technical difficulties. I work on this new intro. That's a shout out called, the track is called You Got It by the homie Jay, by Smooth, featuring EK. Again, the track is called You Got It, single coming out by EK and Smooth right here out of 916. Appreciate y'all tuning in for this Tuesday midday episode of 94 Feet with Coach JT. Do me a favor. Leave a like in the comment, subscribe to the podcast. Let me know what you think. Also, man, still tap in. I know I haven't been pushing as much, but the online store is up and available, rocking right now. I got some dope HBCU gear up there online. 94FeetWithCoachJT.com. We got the dad caps, we got the chucker cats, we got the baseball tees. I got a lot of HBCU gear up there. It's that season for us. Representing my school, the best school of all, Alcorn State University, of course. As you see it, we stay applying pressure this year. We coming. Again, trying to get back to that swag championship this year. As I get into this intro, give me a second as I make sure I got to do the doctor her due diligence on this intro on today's episode. All right. So let's see. Dr. Mitchell is an author, a scientist, mentor, educator, consultant. She leads research laboratory that has generated millions of dollars in grant funding to study kidney disease. As the founder of the Glory Agency, Dr. Mitchell specializes in empowering people to discover and become who they were created to be. She provides practical strategies her clients can apply personally and professionally. Dr. Mitchell mentors with passion, guides those around her to elevate their vision to new heights. She learned the value of perseverance and integrity at an early age in Little Rock, Arkansas. Her dedication and determination have allowed her to become the first woman, African-American or person to accomplish many achievements through her career. When not speaking or writing, she can be found leading a co-ed hiking group in the woods of Alabama or dabbling with the arts and crafts. And she is a graduate of Alcorn State University. I'm bringing it right now. Dr. Mitchell, how you doing? What's up?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Appreciate you taking time out this busy schedule for yourself to come and tap in with us. Also getting tap in. A lot of our friends and alumni from college, I'm sure they're Facebookers, so they'll be on here tapping in, giving props, leaving messages. They follow the show heavy, which I appreciate their support too. But let's get into a little bit about yourself. And before we get to the author and the biology part, give the listeners, your listeners who will see this podcast and hear, or mine as well, who may not know you, tell me them and us a little about where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, as you mentioned it in the intro, and I currently live in Birmingham, Alabama. So I am definitely a Southern girl. I love being outdoors, and basically I'm a little country. Um, so that's my where I'm from. But essentially, as you kind of alluded to in the introduction, I have several hats that I wear. And what I'm really passionate about is making sure people can become who they're supposed to be. And so I love mentoring people and encouraging them and trying to give them strategies on how to really go past any hindrances or insecurities that they have so that they can be successful in everything that they try to pursue.
That's what's up. So, I mean, growing up in the country or Southern girl, Arkansas, we talked about a little bit in the intro and knowing the background as far as biology and science and stuff like that. Does that does that kind of interest, or was it lie, especially coming from our community as being African Americans? Biology and science were looked at somewhat early age was like, I'm not going to be a scientist. I want to be something else. But as we go to this now, as I realize this and going through HBCU as well, a lot of scientists and people in the medical field come from HBCUs and from the South. But what is your interest, or what interests you early on, or how early did you get interested in the sciences? How was it?
It's really funny. I really became interested in science when I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. And my dad had a love for biology, so he really wanted me to become a medical doctor. And so I was kind of guided to go along that route, but obviously I didn't, pursue that fully. But I decided to really pursue science, and after I realized I had a great interest in it, primarily because during the time that I was growing up, there was an AIDS epidemic. And so I was really like, I want to find a cure for AIDS. And I remember telling a family member at the time, they're like, that's a great ambition, but, hopefully they can find a cure for AIDS before you can get older. And because I just, I'm young, so I took that advice as like, oh, well, maybe I can't do it. And so I was a little discouraged, but as time continued to go on through class, it was something that I was really good at. I was good at science, good at math, and I just kept trying to pursue it. And so the opportunities came, and of course, I'm thinking I'll just be a medical doctor since I can't find a cure for AIDS. And I realized in the summer program, which it's just amazing how some of these opportunities have been presented to me, because I really didn't seek them out, or I wasn't aware because I just didn't know about them. But I ended up shadowing a clinician. I think it must have been sophomore year of college at in Tennessee. And I just realized I didn't like seeing people sick. Like, it just really bothered me. So the following summer, I just started Googling and found a research program. And again, this was something I had no idea what I was applying for. I just decided to apply for it. And it was actually the summer I really fell in love with doing biomedical research, and really just was the catapult to, or the catalyst rather, for my scientific career today.
That's what's up. That's good. So during college, you kind of honed in on that. But what about like during the high school process? Was it heavy then, or kind of already somebody was picking? You said your father was already kind of planting those seeds. Was it like just I'm just gonna push the opposite way for then, or it was kind of like no, I'm just not ready at the time?
No, I mean, I just continued to try to learn science. It wasn't something that I would say it wasn't hard for me. I mean, I'll say chemistry is not my thing, but biology, I find that fascinating, just how the body functions and how it can lead to disease, and just how we can make different changes with our diet as well as our lifestyle. And even more importantly, with our thinking and how we decide to approach life can be very beneficial to our health. So, I can't say it was like one aha moment in high school, but I just knew from a very early age that I wanted to be a scientist. I knew I wanted to make some type of discovery. And thankfully, I've been able to have those opportunities to do that, as well as open doors for other people to actually do that look like me.
That's what's up. You talked about the college aspect a little bit. Now, was Alcorn State the first stop for you in college out of high school?
Yes. So I actually knew I wanted to go to HBCU. And so, as I mentioned before, I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, and there is a HBCU in Arkansas, UAPB. And I knew I wanted to go to HBCU, but I didn't want to go to HBCU that close to my house. So I decided to do some research and found Alcorn, and I just fell in love with the campus. If you know what it is. It's a beautiful campus, and I just knew that that was home for me when I first visited. As well as getting a partial academic scholarship really helped. So that was the reason why I went there. I just loved it.
That's good, because I know some people,
Yeah.
it take them a little while to warm up, unless you're really from the area or have that family tradition. Like, I mean, some people are, they know off top, okay, I'm gonna be at Alcorn. They grew up either close around where it's like that lineages or legacy type thing. But also coming from out of state is a little different unless you have somebody connected. But what was your initial outside of? So you said the campus was beautiful, but when you set foot on there to live, though, what was your initial like? Oh, I made the right decision, or I gotta navigate through some space, because the resources back then when we was there were definitely limited to what they are now. So what was that transition like for you?
That was, you're not lying about the resources. I mean, taking 45 minutes to get to Walmart. That was an adjustment for me. But one of the other reasons that I wanted to go there was I wanted to go out of state. I wanted to go to HBCU, and I really wanted to go somewhere where I didn't know anybody. Not because I was trying to run away from anything. I just wanted to challenge myself to see how I could acclimate to a new environment. So it was the perfect fit for that. It was a 4.5-hour drive from my house, and I just decided to go for it. So it wasn't really difficult. I mean, initially, like anyone, when you first leave home, it's a little hard because you're trying to adapt and figure out new environment, new people, and just where Walmart is, like all these different random things. So once I got past that and I was able to make friends, and of course, Mississippi is a great state as far as the hospitality, for sure. I remember when I first went there, and everyone I walked past was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like,
"Everybody speak out here."
Like, what is this, right?
Everybody talk out here.
Yes. So I mean, they don't really do that exactly the way where I'm from, but that was definitely the culture there, and that's what really drew me into as well.
That's what's up.
And
then we say the resources, right? But also we say if you can make it HBCU, you can make it anywhere. But the family ties and values, relationships you build from those in that environment are second to none. But also they're like long lasting, right? Like lifelong friends or people we go through the struggles together. Like you go through those days, and those nights, those situations where it gets hard or things happen, or we take losses. But what was probably one of the biggest adjustments you say when you personally had to make getting into that environment of a full-time student and going to school out of state, but also being, like you said, somewhere where you don't have resources, like as far as connections for yourself, like personally, you couldn't just go an hour home or go get something like that, or some of the struggles you may have had to deal with or overcome during that time?
I think also the financial struggle.
Right.
I had to really budget to make sure that I had the food I needed each week. Of course, I had the meal plan, but I mean, the cat food was good, especially that vanilla cake. But loved it. Aside from that, though, it was just trying to financially make sure that I was on a tight budget and making sure I could get what I need, as well as really trying to adapt to sometimes missing home. So for a while, I would go home often, but then eventually I had friends and their family became my family. So they took me in, and so they were able to help me walk through that process of maybe sometimes feeling homesick or feeling lonely. Even I remember a time in my college years, I really got sick, and I had family, or I call them family, but my friends' family members, they really stepped in to make sure I was okay, and providing different things that I needed, as well as prayer, just trying to help me to get through that season. So that was something that was extremely valuable to me during my college years.
Yeah, definitely crucial, because you can, instead of going 4 hours, I can go 45 minutes to somebody's house, or at least an hour down the road, and it's a lot better. You still feel at home, which is definitely crucial. So definitely as the football season approached, though, man, what do you just remember about the environment, man? Because like I said, I won't forget it. I always love to be around it, love to go back and be a part of it. But what are some of the entertainment or just the active days you remember? Because I mean, it's nothing like it out there, and people say the middle of nowhere or the yard, but it really is the game days or game weeks or whatever it is, the big weeks or game days, it's nothing like it. But what are some of the memorable things you remember about all the people or some stuff going on like that?
I mean, just the tailgating was fantastic, as well as just even seeing the band play. Like, I love hearing like HBCU bands play. And then I don't know if you remember, I cheered for a little bit one season.
Yeah.
That was fun. It was a lot of work, but it was
while doing
It was,
schoolwork, while trying to
yeah,
be a student, and
yeah,
that's right.
and party at the same time. Like I did it all.
Yeah.
I had a great time. So those are some of the things that come to my mind right now about just that football season and the atmosphere and
Hmm.
the spirit of school and everyone just really just connecting and making sure they wear all of their Alcorn gear and
Yep.
even just talking crap about all the other swag teams that would come. So
All the
like
time.
hearing all that and
All the
those
time.
are good times.
Yeah, all the time. That's what's up. As you got closer to the end of your college career, as far as not career, as far as like education, did you already have a plan on what was next for you? Because I mean, especially being in the medical field, you guys were in school for a lot longer. So was that something that was already laid out for you through like your work, guiding counselors, or what? Or is that something you had to just go ahead and navigate by yourself as well?
I mean, I'll say it hasn't been smooth sailing. So I would say after graduating, I was really trying to recover, get back to because I was recovering from being sick and getting back to Arkansas and getting back to this new environment and trying to adapt to, I'm in Mississippi, I'm grown, so I don't have to tell anybody what I'm doing, right? But I moved back
Yeah.
home and now I got to adjust to where you going? I'm like, why are you asking me these questions, right?
Right.
So, I had a lot of transition going on, but I was really trying to get into graduate school. So actually the first attempt of trying to get in graduate school, my standardized test scores were just not there. And so
Mhm.
I wasn't able to start school immediately. Instead, I had what's called a gap year. And
Mm.
this is a year where you basically work and you get job experience. And basically, they're trying to see if you can actually do research before they admit you into graduate school. So I
Mm.
did that for a year. And of course, I was disappointed, but it really opened so many other opportunities for me to learn and get kind of I guess, a jump start compared to other students that might have just immediately transitioned from undergrad to graduate school. So I had to work a year and then I kept trying to pass the test. And eventually I got a score that was reasonable and they knew me. So they're like, all right, we'll invest in you. So we'll admit you into the program.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
During this process, I always got to ask people sometimes, like when graduations and stuff happens or next process, parents relationship. How was the parents like? Okay, like, oh, she's still at it. My baby's still going. I'm sure they were happy, but what was their vibe with you continue education and really finding, I believe what we come today knowing it's like a passion for you to serve and help others. How was the vibe with the parents at this time?
Do you mean like how are they? Can you repeat it one more
Well, like
time?
you and the parents, like communication wise, they were like, okay, let's go get this done, or you got time to get it, baby, or not, get out here and make this happen right now because you're a little older.
No, my parents have been extremely supportive. I mean, in every way that you could possibly think of. I mean, obviously they're not perfect and there's been some challenges that we've had to overcome, but they have been extremely supportive of me as far as going forward and adapting to the career that I've chosen. Especially as I'm a minority, as not many of us in this field that I am in, and now there are a lot more, but still not a ton of us. But when I started, I remember walking into graduate school and everyone looking at me like, is she lost? I'm like, oh, am I not supposed to be here? And I don't know. I don't think they probably try to, send that message, but that's what I felt. And so I can remember going home and talking to my mom about those things and my mom encouraging me to just keep going forward. And all the other microaggressions I might have experienced, my dad and my mom have given me advice on how to navigate that, to stay focused and to really accomplish the goals that I have, so that I wouldn't get distracted by people, quite frankly.
So you brought up a good scenario, like, so when you do walk into that classroom and all the heads turn, what is your reaction at that point?
Back then, I was just like, ooh, am I not supposed to be here? But now I'm like, hey, how y'all doing?
So through time and
I'm
change,
here. I've arrived.
right? Yeah.
Get your life. No, I'm just
Was
kidding.
that initial was going to something like that though? Going to see. So I mean, the first day you get that, but going back to say second day for class, was it like, okay, I'm gotta walk in with an even stand taller, stand upright, or no, I deserve to be here. I need to be here and get this thing done. What was that like?
It's called I can't think of the term right now. Imposter syndrome. That's a term that's in science where people basically alter their persona to try to fit in,
Mhm.
or they might act like they're a certain way, but they're still maybe feeling insecure in some ways. I don't think I necessarily jumped into that space, but it was more of a like, okay, oh crap, what have I walked into? How am I going to do this? And okay, well, you're here. It was all this mental gymnastics. That's the best way to describe it. Me, one moment thinking, okay, you can do this. And there's these other moments I'm like, did I make the right decision? Maybe I should have gone to medical school. It's just all of those different things that went back and forth, but I had to be resilient and push through and look past those thoughts that try to hinder me at that point in my life.
That's what's up. Like so in sports, as you know, right? If you're taking that season period of time where you're cheerleading and playing sports, it's a lot of work put in practice, right? But now from this aspect, let's switch it to the education or the learning aspect. How much time are you putting in studying, reading, or whatever? I mean, I'm not sure the whole context of what goes on behind the scenes in the medical field like that, as far as to get a degree or to get admitted in school. But how much work was it for you? What was your schedule like, or something like that? Give me an example.
You mean while I was in graduate school?
Anyone.
I would say it was a lot of work. It's I probably am I think any athlete or person that is dedicated is a person that can be very determined and focused. It's like once you get this, it's like the tunnel vision. Once you got your mind set up on what you want to achieve, there's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of people that can't really identify what you're trying to accomplish. So maybe they're supportive, but they're not supportive because they feel like you can't give them attention that, they desire. And so I think what it looked like for me was a lot of that. So trying to navigate relationships, but also appreciating those relationships, but staying focused on my goals. So that meant like getting up early, staying up late, working, and doing what was necessary. And I tell like people that I mentor a lot, especially people that are a little bit younger, they're like, I don't want to spend all these years doing this. I'm like, well, you're going to live it anyway. You might as well invest in yourself. So I just try to encourage them and help them realize that, the work is required to get where you want to be. Like you have to invest in yourself, and it's not a matter of, it's benefiting someone else. It's benefiting you and the people that's in your family and the people that come after you. So those are the type of things that I would think about to try to stay motivated, because there were times I was just very tired and didn't want to do anything.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely comes in something has to keep you going, or you realize, okay, there's a reason for you to keep going. But I mean, as we know, I try to tell a lot of these people, just everybody who knows, but it don't come overnight. It's not a quick. I mean, we wish we could snap the finger like they're doing the videos or the highlight reels, but it doesn't happen. Those are highlights for a reason, right? They've been through something or did something or accomplished it to get to those highlights. It just didn't happen that way. So,
can I say something else about that? You're just kind of bringing to my mind about, I imagine younger people are watching this, and I have a heart for them. But, a lot of times the work is required, but also it takes longer because there's a period of character development that's required. Sometimes you're maybe not mature enough for what you think you are. So you have to work through it, go through the process so that you can become more mentally strong and capable to handle the responsibilities. It's one of those things where you don't want to get somewhere too fast. If you're not responsible mentally or emotionally to handle what you're trying to get to, you know what I mean? So I just kind of want to throw that in there too.
That's real. I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to attest to that. You get something, be careful what you ask for, but if you're not ready for it, you'll lose it. You'll lose it. And then you got to regroup, but hopefully you learn from it to get it back and be better the second time around. That was good. That's what's up. The Glory Agency. Let's talk about that. Like, how did that come about? What made that go into full swing?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I wear a lot of hats, and I love writing. And the purpose of that agency is to help people that want to get better. I have a natural gift to talk to someone and help them come up with a strategy to get to the next place that they're trying to get to. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know the reasoning, I guess, but to help people. But the purpose of that agency is to talk to someone and help them really get a strategy to execute and get to where they're trying to go. So that could be career counseling, grant writing, as well as writing a book and publishing a book.
That's what's up. So
there's a lot I can
you got a lot.
provide
No,
you with.
okay. So multifaceted, but since we're bringing that, we got to make sure, where can they find this book at? You know, you give the information out right now while you take a second. You got to shout it out.
The book is called Renew the Inner You, and it is a book that's basically available to help people counter their negative emotions and thoughts using practical guidance as well as spiritual guidance. So really helping people to understand you can't just pray something away that you might be feeling. You also have to have practical steps in place. So really trying to just marry those two avenues to help people become whole and healthy. And so the reason why we need to do that is that we can be successful in everything that we're trying to do. So it's one thing to work hard, but if you're working too hard and you're not able to manage those negative thoughts or even the pressures of life, then you're going to just be delayed to getting where you're trying to be. So that's kind of a brief overview of the book, but it's on Amazon.com, as well as if people wanted to reach out to me, I could send them a signed copy, which is even better because I like to write a little note to everybody that purchases a book.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And right now, I'm gonna give another shout out to you and your book, but also shout out to Jamie Jenkins, another Alcorn graduate. So we got 2 Alcorn graduates that have books out for your support who are his is called Hello Athlete, but he has a whole bunch of Hello novels out there. Shout out to Jamie. But so one, support your classmates, support your classmates. They're doing big things, but also I'm gonna make sure I use my platform to highlight you guys because it's dope. But the content is definitely something that we need in our communities, but also it's come from people with experiences, right? Like you guys are qualified. So, I mean, like, why not? I mean, we support our own, but also if the information is there and valid, let's do that. So make sure you follow her on the socials, and I will make sure I post the info right after we got this live today. I'll make sure I post it. I tag her in there. I'll put the book up there, some stuff so you guys can see it. But definitely tap in if you want that signed copy. Let her know. She'll get that custom signed copy right there of the book. What sense of accomplishment, or actually before the accomplishment, how hard was it? Was it a big struggle for you to get it off the ground, or was it something that you knew, okay, I'm doing this is something I've been waiting on?
You're talking about the book, right?
Yeah, the book.
Oh God, that book took me 5 years to write, and it was very hard. Like, I love writing, so it's not so much. It wasn't difficult to really write it. It was difficult to write the content. So that looked like being more vulnerable and open with people about different things that I was experiencing, and also going through my own personal healing. And, you know, a lot of times I know writers try to write books and they're ready to hurry up and publish it, but sometimes it takes longer than expected. And going back to what I mentioned earlier, I recognize and I can see now that it took me a little bit longer because I wasn't ready to publish it when it was done. Like, I remember thinking I was done with a draft. I had a totally different name and I was just like, this is not ready. Like, I got to sit on this. So I sat there for a minute, went through a little bit more counseling and healing. And then it was, you know, more edits. And then I felt like it was ready. And then that's when I decided to go ahead and publish it. So that was a learning curve as well. And so my company, The Glory Agency, published that book. But you know, it was not, I don't want to say it was easy, but I don't want to say it was hard to discourage anyone, because whoever is listening and they're thinking about writing, or they, you know, started and maybe stopped, I really want to encourage you to really keep going with it, because whatever your message is, it needs to be out. And don't get distracted from, you know, the timelines, or like, oh, you know, or even, you know, that self-pity of like, man, I should have gotten this done a long time ago. Like, I'm behind schedule. It's very easy for us to put that pressure on ourselves in a way that's not healthy. So I just want to make sure if anybody is thinking about doing that or in that process, to keep going and know that it can be done.
That's what's up. Also mentioned about you, like public speaking, right? Doing stuff like that. Was that something that came natural? Because some people have those fears, those phobias, or some people like, man, I mean, they talk all the time, so it's natural for them. Where did you fall in that category? Something you had to learn to get better at, or the repetition got better as well, or something like, okay, that was something you felt comfortable in that area of work?
You know, I don't know if I would say I'm still comfortable with it. Like, before I got on here, I was still nervous, right? Every time I got to talk in front of somebody, I'm nervous a little bit. And then, you know, naturally it dissolves, and then I'm just in the moment and I'm connecting with the person, and I'm trying to make sure I say everything that's coming out of my mouth is going to be refreshing or encouraging to the listener. So that's my priority. So of course, you know, natural human response is to get nervous, but I would say that I am not naturally one to just keep talking like some people. But I think, even just my career in some ways. I have to give a lot of presentations, sometimes weekly, sometimes at conferences. I think that has really helped me prepare for moments like this. And, I'm still learning. I definitely wouldn't say I got all this figured out by any means, because I have more aspirations and things that I have to learn from people like you and other people that are doing great things. So it's not something that it's just, I would say it's natural, but I've had to work at it. That's the point I'm
You're
trying
doing
to say.
fine. Just getting reps in. That's all. Getting the practice in. That's all it is, right? The more we
Yeah.
do it, the more comfortable we get in the speaking game. And like I said, some people flock to it. Some people learn to do it. Some people just won't do it at all. So, I understand all those aspects because it can be a little bit hard sometimes when you get in front of these crowds or talking to people and they don't give you what you want back, man. But I would encourage you to keep practicing, you know what I mean? Just find that niche and open those, like you said. But if you're keeping the conversations, genuine, empathetic, like those things are always real. Those are easy to have conversations with different people as well.
May I say something else?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and this is just coming to my mind. A lot of times we can get in our own way. And I think a lot of people don't recognize the power that they have within them, the knowledge that they have, the wisdom, despite all of our mistakes and the things that we might have done that we're not proud of. There's still value and worth in each person. So, if a person has this desire to speak or to write, whatever it may be, whatever that outlet is, I think you have to train your mind to say, okay, I got to get over myself, number one. And then you have to think about, I have an audience of one. And so that's what keeps me encouraged is I have one person to make sure that I am pleasing at this point. I can't worry about how other people respond. And that is that mental war. I'm not going to say it's just like easy for me, but that's what helps me to stay focused and to really try to execute the things that I think I'm supposed to be doing. So if anybody is kind of battling that, I would encourage you to really think about why are you doing what you're doing, and then think about the people that will benefit from you opening your mouth or writing or putting pen to paper, or even in whatever that is, whatever that looks like. If it's not public speaking, if it's coaching, whatever it is, it matters.
That's what's up. So outside of the books you have out now, is there anything in the works? Actually, you know what? And I would like to say congratulations, right? I saw the post a couple of days ago. What was the big move you just made or got accomplished right now? I don't want to misquote anything. So if you can let people know and tell me again so we can give you your props right now.
Yeah, I just got promoted to associate professor in the School of Medicine, and I put on the post some stats. I don't want to misquote the stats, but essentially what I was highlighting was the fact that about 2 to 3% of faculty in the School of Medicine across the country, that percentage are African Americans. And that's a very small amount. So we want to try to increase that, but it takes more work. So we're getting there.
That's what's up. Congratulations to you.
Thank
and
you.
that accomplishment, that's major moves. But like you said, you got more stuff to do, more things going on. So real quick though, I'm gonna throw a couple pictures up here. Just tell me what comes to mind, or what event was it? What day was it? What was going on during this time? Just a little bit of a nothing too crazy, nothing too old. Just I saw some recent pictures. So
I'm open.
We're gonna talk about the
laugh.
moment. I was gonna talk about the moment right here. Some of these pictures. All right, let's see. Let me get it.
Okay, this was I see that.
Back up. Here we go. There we go.
Yeah, that was my first book signing. That was a great time, and I did it in my hometown in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. God knows
Step out there.
But it was great. Like I really enjoyed it, and it was kind of like a physical display of just getting that book out. And the best thing about it is being able to sign it, and then, well, that's one nice part, but the best part is when someone reads the book and comes back to me and says, hey, someone just told me this last week. She says, hey, I keep your book on my nightstand. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, girl, I do. It's helped me so much. And this is someone that is completely opposite of me in every way you could probably think of. So, those kind of things are really exciting. So the book signing reminds me of that, and to keep going and try to make sure I can get to the point and have more, frequently.
That's dope. That's a really good feeling. I know for sure.
Yeah.
All right. In the lab.
Yeah, I'm in the lab, and so this is a picture. This is probably gonna be funny. So where I work, if they take a picture of you, they can put the picture wherever they want to put it without asking you or telling you about it. And that picture reminds me of the current picture that they use university wide for a PowerPoint template. And I remember opening the new templates that they have, and my picture is on the background and a watermark. On the first slide, I was like, these folks done took my picture, didn't pay me. Like, this is crazy. So when I see those pictures, I'm like, yeah, that is funny. Like, it comes up quite often. Like, oh, I saw your picture on the PowerPoint template. I'm like, this don't make no sense.
For
They should pay
everybody.
me.
Everybody to see. That's the first slide they see. Presentation.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I got one more here.
Okay, this was actually my first podcast interview, and that one was really fun, and I was nervous as all get out, and I finished that podcast, and I told some people I did it, and they're like, "Oh, that's great! It was a really great podcast. You did great." And I was like, "Oh, I haven't listened to it."
Never didn't go back and play it, huh?
It took me so long to go back and listen to that podcast because
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what I said, but I was just like, oh, okay, it's kind of like, okay, that's done. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to hear it, but yeah. So
it's
like,
all right.
hopefully
It's
you
all
can
right.
see my issues too that I got to work through.
Nah, so I'm gonna keep it. I don't think I ever even said this on it. I may go back and play a few segments out of mine. I don't listen. I keep going. Like, because I also I retain information too, so I remember the conversations, I remember the highs and moments, or the energetic questions, or the reactions. So, but I'm like, now it's like I think, man, I don't even know, I'm 110 in right now. So I just keep going and take it from what I've learned. But I kind of remember the highs and lows, whatever. I clip out something, but I don't go back into the whole thing because I'm like, okay, what's my next one? Who I want to get next? So I mean, it's all right. I mean, you'll build it up. I mean, but you speak a lot anyway too. So all those conversations are not going to be in your memory. Like, you're not going to go back and replay them all anyway, though. So you're good.
Yeah.
All right. So in basketball, there's something called triple threat where you can dribble, pass, or shoot the basketball. But in my show, for all the guests, I always ask everybody for their triple threat though. So this is 3 things that you can give out to your guests, the listeners, people who know you, who may not know you, and myself. 3 things that we can like say, oh yeah, I heard Dr. T say this. This is what she stands on. This is her morals. Give me your 3 things or your triple threat that you could give to somebody who's listening, who may not know you, who wants to know you right now, that you would kind of give them. I see, and that's why I do live, because I see the head spinning. You're thinking,
yeah, because the eyes don't went up.
Eyes
Like,
went
oh,
up.
I
So
got
yeah. So
this
give
need to
me
be
your
powerful.
Hey, make it. There you go. Make it what it is. There you go. You got time. No rush.
Let's see. 3 things I would give as a triple threat to the audience. There's been so much I've been learning. I think the first and foremost is to recognize your spiritual walk with God is essential. There is no way I could be who I am, do what I've done up to this point, and what's to come. Y'all will keep hearing me say it over and over again. It's because God has helped me push me through these different things and has elevated me. But I really think people sometimes overlook that, or maybe they feel like, I tried it, but it didn't work. I'm gonna tell you, try again, because if that's not solid, then you can't function right. That's my perspective. That's number 1. So really igniting and maintaining a relationship with God. That'd be the first one. Second one is to really know yourself and to love yourself. I have gone through the process of really understanding the significance of that, because if you don't love yourself properly, you're going to settle. You're going to allow people to mistreat you. And then more importantly is also, you're not going to be able to really love others the way that you're supposed to. And I think once you really understand who you are, your boundaries, your identity, those things will guide you and lead you to exactly what you're supposed to be doing, especially if you're someone that's really searching out purpose or trying to figure it out. It's really taking the time to spend time with yourself and be okay with, walking or doing stuff by yourself, because you really are with you 24/7. So you need to love yourself and, more importantly, like yourself. So I would say that would be the second thing. And then the third thing would be to do not allow time to limit you. A lot of times we have these time frames or schedules of what we think we should be doing, or just all these different time limits. And I think that hinders people, and it forces us to make decisions maybe that are not as well thought out. So I think that would be my triple threat. So number one, making sure you ignite, maintain that relationship with God. Secondly, making sure you know yourself, like yourself, know your boundaries and things that matter to you. And then the third one, what was the third one? The third one.
Time.
Time.
I
Thank
got
you.
you. Time.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Don't let time limit you.
Yeah, that's the educator in me. I'm like, all right, I'm talking. I'm like, these are 3 points, take home points. So yeah,
That's what's up.
God, you, and time.
There you go. Give the information out again, where they can find you at, buy the books at one more time before we get out of here.
Yeah,
Everybody know.
the book is on Amazon.com. You can search for Renew the Inner You. And then you'll also have all my handles attached for Facebook and Instagram. And I'm still trying to grow in other platforms. So I'm going to get there.
All right. Hey, I said time. You're all right. But thanks for taking time out your day on this Tuesday afternoon for you, midday for me out here on the West Coast. For just sharing your story. Appreciate you. You did a great job.
Thank you.
More to come. I know you're moving. And I hope the guests, I know they people do reviews, they hit me up and they say it was dope or they were informed. So just appreciate you. And again, shout out to Alcorn State University. You know what I'm saying? As that season right now for us, everybody getting ready, man. So again, tap in. Again, appreciate your time, and everything is live, like I said, so it's clipped up. I'm gonna repost a few things by today and tag you in them on all your socials.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing big things, and hopefully all even men and women are inspired about your journey and what you're doing for yourself and for others, because everybody's not able. You know what I mean? So it takes a special person to serve. So that's what you're doing in a field to where it's highly needed in the time we are today for our people as well as everybody else in the world. So appreciate you.
Thank
Many
you.
blessings. Steph, great job again. You know where to find me. Hit me up. Y'all heard it here first with the doctor. Again, I said yes, Dr. Mitchell here on 94 Feet with Coach JT on this Tuesday, afternoon down in Little Rock, episode of 94 Feet with Coach JT. We out. Peace.